Hey everyone, well this video I'm going to be talking about my old Massey Ferguson 1135 tractor, and I'll probably close out the video about my other tractor there, the Case IH Magnum 7120. What both these tractors have in common is I recently did some lighting upgrades on them. I went ahead and changed out the rear lights and updated on the back of the Massey here, and I added new cab lights up on the top of the Magnum, and the side floodlights, work lights, or directional lights they call. All LED on these tractors except for the front ones and the grill, and on here these are still the old incandescents, and no, they're not very bright. That tractor is only the original factory headlights are still halogen, and one back set there for the baler pickup to show the behind the tractor there, those are still halogens. Pretty much the rest of the tractor is swapped over, that one to LED, and this one, the back half of the tractor, is swapped over to LED. But the main part of this video is what I was going to talk about on the Massey here is when I started this whole upgrade there to the back lights, kind of ran into a bump in the road, or whatever you want to call it. This tractor, when I got it many years ago, had horrible wiring in it. I had straightened a whole bunch out, but I never did get all of it. What I found when I was doing these lights here was a whole bunch of wiring in the back of the cab and the upper front part of the cab. I literally had that all torn apart to get to the wiring to fix a bunch of other people's patch-em-ups. And at the same time, on the other side of the tractor, underneath the base of the cab, somebody had butchered up all the wiring and literally just had it wrapped or hand twisted, not soldered, no butt connectors, nothing. They just twisted the copper ends together and put a wrap and a half of tape on it and left it there, and literally rubbing and chafing on the cross member of the cab. And I'm just lucky this tractor didn't completely burn to the ground, honestly. And my Magnum, the upper lights there, that was all butchered together, the wiring, for no good reason. They had those tractors had good, what they call those weatherproof plugs at the, well, I guess there's an actual proper name for it, but that's what everybody refers to them as. But anyways, that one had they come from factory with the weatherproof plugs, and somebody cut the plugs, wired in the original light back into it, and then added a set of small round LED lights to it, and then butchered in again to the wiring. So I cleaned that all up, put the actual weatherproof plugs back on both the light end and on the tractor end of the cab. So that's back to OEM standard, more or less, I guess. And the auxiliary LEDs that were added on here, I cleaned them up and reused them on the back of the Massey here. But to get to this stage here now, I literally, between these two tractors, fixing the lights, and this one in particular, I think I have something like 14 or 15 man hours of labor into, I kept track of it just out of curiosity, just to get everything, wiring straightened out. It was literally just piece on piece on piece of wire, just an add-on of another add-on of another add-on of another add-on. I've been a long time since I've seen that kind of butchered up wiring. And actually, a number of years back, a friend of mine that's a long-time automotive mechanic, and he's particularly good at doing automotive wiring, cleaned up a bunch of wiring under the dash for me. I had done a bunch, like I say, when I got the tractor, and then I started having problems with the front lights on here not wanting to work proper, so he just volunteered and said, hey, do you need me to, clean up a little bit for you and, get the lights working again proper? I said, yeah, if you want to take it on. So he spent an afternoon working on it for me, like I say, a number of years back. Just like to say thanks, Gary. Anyways, so the under dash part is well routed out and cleaned up, and that's not a problem there. But everything on this tractor, when I got it literally from under the dash to the upper cab to under the cab, somebody had to play with it and butcher all the wiring from one end of this tractor pretty much to the other. All the lighting, all the switches, everything you can think of. Everybody had, previous owners had, like I say, added their stink to it, so to speak, and what a friggin' mess. But anyways, I'll show you what I've been working on here. I'll just show you the lights that I've added here. Like I say, these here are takeoffs from the other tractor. One on each side here. I've added one over here on this side, and of course the both on this side. And the other day when I was in the city, I went to the local Princess Auto or supply store there that sells all this kind of stuff and tools and you name it. Anyways, I picked up a little rectangular LED light there. There was an incandescent light there, like there is that one there. And that bugger there, unbeknownst to me, was still hooked into the system, and that one's got a dead short in it. When I went and got this one hooked up and turned the wiring on, I had a wiring fire in the front of the cab. I'll show you right away here what I had to open up to get into, but anyways, this is the end product here now that it's all mounted up and got it wired up, and I even got some plastic loom on over the wires to protect them, and everything is routed and back where it's supposed to be. Again, these weren't the brightest of light, but they are a heck of a lot better than the old incandescent ones that were on here. And like I say, the other tractor here, it got a brand new set of high output multi-angle LEDs. I'll go ahead and show, I think I got some footage of me wiring these in here or doing the upgrade. I also added these new LED, like I say, these side lights here on the step here. There's one on the other side as well. This is kind of what you call your directional, you know, row crop light. So anyways, between that and the ones up here, yes, these do turn night into day. They are excellent lights, and the wiring is, like I say, back to the correct spec the way it's supposed to be. I'll go ahead and show a little bit more here on the Massey what I did. Now I'll go ahead and show here what I biggest problem here was what I ran into was something that I didn't even know was the wiring was butchered, was underneath the battery box over here under the cab, right here. No, I did not rewrap these wires in electrical tape. There's over here, you can't see it probably on the camera, but there's one of those rubberized frame grommet holder, or whatever you want to call it, and they're routed into there, and the wiring runs back up underneath the cab. It comes up over here underneath the firewall, of course, and ends up in the dash. There's no problem over here. Where it was all butchered up was right over here under the, or over top of the battery for whatever reason, but this has now been all fixed. The wires are properly soldered back together. I used double wall adhesive lined heat shrink tubing on all the connections. What, like I said, they did over here was literally twisted all the wires together and just put a wrap and a half of electrical tape on it, or a wrap, or barely a wrap of electrical tape, and that started rubbing and shorting here on the frame. I had sparks flying all over here the other day. Well, where I almost had a fire was right here in the cab. In the upper front section here where the wiring comes up the post of the cab, and there's a main junction box in here with all the wiring, and they had the relays originally from the factory in there, but people over the years had butchered that all out of there. This is an access panel that you can open, so I had this access panel open here, and there's an access panel at the back of the cab where there's a circulator fan in there, and that's where the lighting for your you know, your emergency side beacon lights, and I got a bubble beacon on top of the cab it was getting to the point where nothing was working anymore on the tractor, and I had shorts all over. And like I say, when I went and hooked this new lights up here into the system, I found a whole bunch of butchered up wiring. Went ahead and pulled all the wiring back, you know, rewired it to correct color-coded wire to what the factory spec was. Went and flicked the switch on, thought I had it good, and like I say, that other dumb light, I forgot there was a wire running up to that other old work light up on top of the cab. Everything started smoking, and I ended up with like basically, I guess you say, electrical fire over here in, at the front section here, because that back light there was well, shorting there too, and so I ended up pulling the wiring out and changing it and going to all new wiring. And yes, I eliminated and cut the wire off to that stupid other light so I could put an end to that crap. So that's no longer an issue. That's been eliminated, along with a bunch of other patched up wiring, and I'll show you the lights that I took off. The old 1135 lives another day. Almost didn't. If I would have went to the field this year with it like it is, chances are I would have ended up burning this thing to the ground within a couple of hours. It was to that point. So it'll live on, hopefully, but you never know. Things can happen. I could still end up with a fire yet, and the tractor could burn to the ground. You never can tell. These things do happen and can happen. Nothing is foolproof in life, but a lot better now than it was. So. Oh, this is just some of the wiring that they had in there, just to give you a bit of an idea. What it was just literally like this, piece upon piece upon piece upon piece upon piece. There was like, literally in this one section of wire here, within 2 feet, there was like 6 different pieces of wire patched together. And these are the longer pieces. There were some that were only half this long, with 2 butt connectors, and then like they did here, you can see here, it's all, they were just wrapped up one end over the other end like this, all just twisted up, and then just taped with electrical tape a little bit. And that was how I threw a whole bunch in the garbage can. I should have showed the pile that I had here. I had literally almost a ball of tape the size, half the size of a basketball by the time I was done pulling all that crap off. And there was bunches of butt connectors and wires, and like I say, all this little butchered up pieces and stuff like this here, where you've got a plug on a joint in the middle of the wiring harness for no reason, and then a foot down or so, then they had a butt connector with more wires clipped into it, and just that kind of crap overall. This stuff here is just leftover wiring that I cut up, that I used to properly, like I say, solder in and heat shrink tube connections, and eliminate that kind of crap and run one wire where I could in certain places, or just do one basic repair patch instead of having 3, 4, 5, and 6 repair patches. Not even using butt connectors, just like I say, just twisting the wires together and then wrapping a wrap and a half of tape on it and calling it, and then sending it down the road like that. So, and this is what I took off the tractor, what I replaced. These are the old original OEM lights. I can't blame anybody about that. That was the best that was available in the late 70s, so that's what they had for tractor lights. This is a standardized rubber work light that was around until LED came onto the scene. That's what was on the back of the cab there up top there that I took off. And well, anyways, like I say, even the wiring to that thing there in the top of the cab there, that was all patched together piece on piece on piece. So this, like those pieces there's some of that there was literally, there was, like I say, 6 different pieces of wire and 6 different colors. There was, you know, orange, black, green, yellow, white, you know, brown. There's all little bits and pieces of everything. So how do you know what goes to where when you have that kind of mismatch of wiring? But, well, somebody decided to add in a round LED light. I'll get up the ladder here and show you. And, well, they made a mess of this. They cut the original plug and removed the weatherproof plug, put the, shitty crimp-on joiners here to tie in this old LED light. Well, I mean, these are still bright. They're brighter than incandescent seal beam, but LEDs come a long way compared to these early ones from more than 10 years ago. So Anyways, and the original light here, I don't know why. These are the original factory lights. Their cab lights are on these tractors, and they cut the weatherproof plug off this end here and spliced in a pigtail here. So we've got two splices here and a splice here, and of course this is the factory plug here on the LED. But they even screwed up here the mounting bracket. They made a mounting bracket to go under the main light to have the other LED light beside it, and they cut it too short, so they cut another piece of bracket and added that, and with a bolt, instead of just making a one-piece long bracket. So this is the kind of cobby crap that people come up with. Oh, and yeah, copious amounts of electrical tape to hold this all together. Now I do have some new weatherproof plugs. I actually have a set of 4 with the little internal terminals that I can cut this apart and put the new weatherproof plug on the tractor end and on the LED light end that I have to replace. So I'll get rid of all this crap and go back to a simple clean system. This is how they have this set up here, with the goofy bracket under bracket with a light beside a light. And that side too, of course, they butchered all the wiring and cut it all up. And don't even ask me what they got going on there. They got an extra set of light that they ran into the cab there. So I got a real friggin' mess going on over there on that side. This side here, I got to get this straightened out, but I got to see what the hell they got, what they tapped into over there, what they did. And this is how tractors end up with cab fires and burning to the ground. This is something that I wanted to change when I first got the tractor a long time ago, and again, it's one of those things you just never get around to it. These had the original halogens in them, and again, the halogen bulbs were burning out in them. I got some LED bulbs, but the LED bulbs just light up. They don't really emit any amount of workable light that you can see anything. So this is all going to be getting like, you can take the lens off of them, and the front lens here, they got the screw there and the screw here. You can take the front assembly glass out and change the bulb, so that's what I had done. I knew this was bad, I just didn't realize how bad, because it was kind of tucked in behind this mess over here. So looking at it a little closer and taking the time to do it, now I realize just what kind of a friggin' mess they got going on. So anyways, gonna cut this crap all off of here and then try and get this all mounted up and cleaned up, and then they've got a nice mounting slot here for the adjustable light slot, actually, so where you can put your lights. So the new LED light will fit in here very nice. So quite excited to see when I get this all you know, set up the way it's supposed to be, and get rid of all this cobbled up crap off of here. And like I say, an electrical fire waiting to happen. So I'll be glad to get this updated. I'll have way better lighting, and well, it'll be probably a lot better for the health of my tractor long run. So got away with it till now, but now's the time to finally get after this and get this fixed proper. We got the new plug on here, so, and I double checked my other plugs to make sure that I got the black and white wiring correct to the right side of the plug on these. So now I just got to make sure I follow that my lights are wired to the same proper sequence. So, but anyways, got this plug on this end here on the tractor where like they're supposed to be, and then we're gonna go ahead and wire up the light in the shop. I'll go ahead and pull this off and clean this up, and then put the end on there, and then wire up those lights in the shop, and then just have to mount them and plug them in, and we're good to go. But yeah, it made a nice clean job after somebody made a mess of it. But anyways, it looks a lot better than it did anyways with the start of this. So tractors are finally tuned up for the most part with lighting now, hopefully for the time being. Should be ready to go. Supposed to have a few days of sunshine, so tomorrow, if it's not pouring rain, I'm going to be out in the field and putting the old Massey here on dragging the hay bine around and getting after it. try and knock down some hay and continue on. But I think we're going to call this a video. Just like to say thanks everybody for stopping by and checking out another one of my videos. And we'll see you all in the next one.